So I'm going to jump on over to one of my compass points. And let's make sure we're in the correct direction here. So my bracket, actually, I was in the wrong direction, and that's not what I wanted. So I wanted it to actually be showing. So let me show you how I fix that. Now, because the book is actually facing in the Z direction, we know that. All right, so again, I'll turn on my floor. I'm actually facing in the Y direction. I'll go to my move tool, and I will, rotate tool. And I'm going to draw out my line from that center point. Actually draw it out here. And I'm going to rotate around. Okay. And once again, I'm going to draw this way, and I'm going to rotate. And then I'm going to take my move tool and move that into position. And so now we have the bracket where it was intended to be. All right. So let's go back to where we were working on the compass, and wanted to make sure that we have the right points. So I'm going to actually want to work on the top of the compass points. There it is. Okay. So I've got the compass point, and I'm going to isolate actually the rest. Now I think in this case, because I do want my point to stay relatively close to the shape, I'm going to turn off my smooth and divide several times. I may even do it up to division level 4. Yeah, that was a good choice. And most of what I want is already here, so I'm going to just divide up to a level 6 at this point. And that still leaves one more division level for me to get tighter. Anytime I start an object, I always just start it with an initial feel to see how the brush reacts to it, and if I'm getting the kind of intensity and feeling that I'm looking for. It's always important to do that the first time out. Don't just jump in and assume that it's going to look great. All right. I'm going to hit my X symmetry so I can do both sides. Just going to rough in some quick little detail here. So we have something going on with the metallic. And I think this one I can actually take a little bit further. So I'm going to go into I think the polish B. I think the trim dynamic will be just a little too harsh for this. So I'm going to turn off X symmetry because I do want my polish to be somewhat unique. I'm just hitting over the area. So what I'm essentially doing is I'm smoothing out my object, but I'm doing it with a polish brush. Here I have some definition, and you can't see it because I'm still working in my red wax. So I'm going to change that now. I'm going to actually press on my comma, and I'm going to select on material and double check on my brown clay, which is a custom shader that I've made and that I will include along with a couple of others in this lesson. And I will also show you how to import those into your startup menu. And again, I'm going to go through the object with my polish brush. You can see how it's giving me this smooth but somewhat rough detail. It looks really cool from a distance as I back away from it. Also, if you're working in a detail that you really need to see it pop, what you may want to do then is get away from a matte finish and go into something that is a somewhat bit glossiness, and you'll start to see more of, you can see here, more of the detail. And there's a whole multitude of different materials that are out there that you can download that will help. There's also some that have a bit more of a gravelly appearance that really show off the lines and what's taking place with your model. And I'm actually ready to take this to the next level, so I'm going to divide up one more time.